Good afternoon and welcome to Business Spotlight, where we bring you news, reports, and insightful conversations around the business fair. I am Layo Shobo Folorunsho and delve straight into the news. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, said Nigeria has moved from a country that talks about reforms to one that has actually done it. Oyedele said this on Thursday while speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the first day of the Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, Rwanda. He noted that the reform efforts of the past 3 years now gives the African continent its most compelling real-world argument against the paralysis of incremental policy change. According to him, Nigeria is still the largest economy by scale, skills, opportunities, and population, adding that Nigeria has done it, although not easy, but it was necessary. Speaking on the forum, Oyedele said the discussions held reflected a shift from the rhetoric to execution and argued that the forum's central preoccupation around scale, skill, and credible institutions was one Nigeria could speak to from experience rather than aspiration. Oyedele also gave a readout of Tinubu's bilateral engagement on the sidelines of the forum, saying the sessions focused heavily on mobilizing investment in Nigeria's power sector, solid minerals, and private sector enabling reforms. The International Finance Corporation, IFC, has said it will immediately send a team to Nigeria to explore scalable investment opportunities in livestock, energy, and housing sectors. This was contained in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The IFC Managing Director, Diop Maktar, disclosed this in Kigali, Rwanda, during a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the sidelines of the 13th Africa CEO Summit. Maktar led an IFC delegation that included senior officials of the organization, according to the statement issued by the presidency, and stated that cooperation was interested in expanding collaboration with Nigeria in key sectors to unlock private capital for development. Maktar further commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for ongoing economic reforms, particularly in the area of fuel subsidy removal and the unification of the foreign exchange market. In his remarks, President Tinubu said Africa must strengthen efforts to mobilize institutional capital, including pension funds, to finance infrastructure, energy transition, and long-term economic transformation. He stressed the need for African countries to deepen regional financial integration and develop infrastructure to attract private sector investment. The regional managing partner for EY West Africa, Anthony Opota, has stated that business leaders across Nigeria are increasingly pivoting from broad experimentation to targeted scaling of artificial intelligence to navigate a volatile economic landscape. He noted that integrating AI into core business unit is no longer a luxury, but a strategic necessity for survival and growth. He added that as global inflation and supply chain disruptions persist, West African firms are leveraging smart technology to insulate themselves against market shocks and drive operational efficiency. He stated that in Nigeria and West Africa, businesses face many challenges but also great chances to grow, where leaders using smart plans and new technology like AI to build stronger companies. The emphasis on AI comes at a critical time as the EY Parthenon 2026 CEO Outlook report on Wednesday reveals that 93% of Nigerian companies have already adopted some form of AI to streamline operations. The focus has moved beyond basic automation toward transforming the very fabric of executive leadership by identifying specific departments such as logistics, finance, or customer service where AI can be most effective. Companies are seeing a direct impact on their bottom line and long-term resilience. The Nigeria Customs Service, Apapa Area Command, has urged officers of the command to protect the reputation of the service, warning that delays in cargo clearance by any officer will not be tolerated. The command's public relations officer, Isa Suleiman, disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen, noting that the customs area controller of the command, Emmanuel Oshoba, issued the warning during the command's monthly parade in Apapa, Lagos. Oshoba emphasized the need for greater operational interventions across terminals to block revenue leakages while ensuring seamless trade facilitation and timely cargo clearance. He also charged officers and men of the command to intensify revenue generation, strengthen anti-smuggling operations, and uphold professionalism and discipline in the discharge of their duties. The Apapa Customs Area Controller also urged officers to remain accessible and professional in their dealings with stakeholders while calling for heightened vigilance against smuggling activities, especially illicit drugs and prohibited items, and warning officers against misconduct and improper dressing. Energy stakeholders, regulators, and industry operators are expected to converge in Lagos to explore pathways for reducing emissions in Nigeria's oil and gas sector as the country intensifies efforts to meet its net zero target by 2060. According to a statement, the conference put together by Oriental News Nigeria will be the fifth edition of the annual gathering focused on energy transition and regulatory developments in the extractive industry. The statement added that this year's theme, carbon capture, accelerating decarbonization initiatives in Nigeria extractive industry through broad regulatory reforms, is set against ongoing legislative and policy efforts, including the proposed National Decarbonization Bill, which seeks to provide a legal framework to support Nigeria's climate goals alongside the Climate Change Act 2021. A Nigerian entrepreneur and energy expert and group managing director of Sahara Group, Kola Additional, is expected to lead discussions at the conference. Additional will also share perspectives on ongoing reforms and decarbonization efforts across the energy value chain. The sub-theme of the conference focuses on addressing financing constraints, investment strategies, operational sustainability, and climate change management within the sector. Discussions are expected to center on how operators can balance environmental commitment with business performance, particularly as the industry faces growing pressure to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while maintaining energy supply reliability. The forum will also examine emerging technologies and approaches such as carbon capture, digital tools, and hydrogen adoption. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited and the Nigerian Institute of Petroleum and Gas Engineers have advocated increased adoption of artificial intelligence and other digital technologies to improve operations in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. This was announced during a visit by the Engineers Association President Priska Kanebi to the group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, represented by the Executive Vice President, Gas, Power and New Energy, Olalekan Oguleye, in Abuja. According to a statement made available to newsmen, discussions at the meeting focused on the future of Nigeria's hydrocarbon industry amid global energy transition concerns, technological changes, and sustainability targets. Kanebi highlighted recommendations from the Institute's recent conference, including the proposed establishment of a National Center for Intelligent Energy Systems to support the deployment of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and robotics across the petroleum value chain. She also commended the federal government's decarbonization efforts and reiterated the Institute's support for policies aimed at improving sustainability in the industry. The Institute also recommended the creation of a hydrocarbon-linked emissions trading system to allow Nigeria to take part in global carbon markets. Captains of industries in the Nigerian telecommunication and oil and gas sector of the nation's economy have called on Nigerians to embrace resilience, authenticity, and discipline in navigating life and career challenges. The chairman, Airtel Africa Foundation, Dr. Shego Ogunsanya, and the Group Executive Director of Rain Oil Limited, Godfrey Ogbeche, made the call at the fourth edition of the Imperfectly Awesome Conversations 4.0 in Lagos, where professionals, entrepreneurs, and students gathered under the theme Be Enough. Ogunsoya said imperfection is a shared human experience and should not be a barrier to success. He noted that setbacks in his own career, including high pressure corporate experiences and near resignation from a top leadership role, reinforced the importance of persistence and adaptability. According to him, success often depends on refining one's approach rather than abandoning goals entirely. Ogunsoya also stressed authenticity as a critical factor in leadership and personal success, saying individuals must remain true to themselves while defining their own measures of achievement. He further emphasized mentorship, noting that effective leaders are defined by the number of leaders they help develop. He urged individuals to see resilience not as simply recovering from setbacks, but as progressing through them. Oyo State government and Governor Sheyi Makinde says his administration has put in place policies, actions, and economic enablers that will make the state the hub of tourism in southwest Nigeria and a major tourism destination in the country. The governor stated this at the opening ceremony of the 2026 Oyo State International Tourism Summit held at the International Conference Center of the University of Ibadan. Our correspondent, Kevin Awoke, has the report.
The hugely untapped potentials of the Nigerian tourism sector forms the base of this year's summit. Oyo State, boasting attractive tourism assets, set sights on maximizing the opportunities in the tourism sector through revitalization of major tourist attractions. For the state's governor, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, his administration is focused on not just attracting investments in the tourism sector, but also building structures capable of sustaining long-term growth to maximize the state's tourism potential.
So long-term investment requires continuity. And given the volatility of our political climate, we have had instances where one administration does its best to build systems, and the next they come in and they scuttle it. For this tourism sector, we're not just initiating projects, we're building structures that can sustain them. Structures that define how decisions are made, aligned institutions around shared goals, and ensure that progress does not depend on individuals. This is institutionalization.
While reflecting on his time as governor of Ekiti State, guest speaker at the event, Kayode Fayemi, emphasized the need for strategic institutions that will unlock the potentials of the tourism industry. He advocated for establishment of a Southwest Tourism Circuit to serve as the region's international gateway for tourism, with the tourist attractions of each state strategically interconnected.
The graveyard of our country's tourism is not littered with bad ideas. It is littered with good ideas that were never institutionalized or carefully executed. But tourism succeeds when that vision becomes policy, when policy becomes systems, when systems become institutions, and when institutions become enforceable frameworks that survive political cycles, which is really the intention behind what we're doing here.
Earlier in his opening address, the organizing secretary of the committee, Abigail Anaba, noted that while the role of government is to create clarity of direction, structure and opportunities, the private sector must drive investment in the tourism sector.
Attractions on their own do not create value. They do not generate sustained revenue. What creates value is structure. What sustains value is governance. And this is the shift that Oyo State has been making over the past 3 years.
Meets with the team, from groundwork to governance, building tourism that endures seeks to align government's policies with value creation in the tourism sector.
And now we join our special business correspondent, Abiola Ismail, for Stock Market Report segment. Over to you, Abiola.
Thank you very much, Layo. Good evening and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment of the Business Spotlight. I am Abiola Ismail. The Nigerian Stock Exchange market closed on the downward trend on Thursday as renewed sell-off in the banking and consumer goods stocks dragged the benchmark index into negative territory, wiping out 169.9 billion naira from investors' wealth. Trading data showed the Nigerian Exchange Limited all shares index declined by 0.10% to close at 252,243.11 points, reversing the previous day's marginal gain and moderating the market's year-to-date return to 62.10%. Market capitalization fell to 161.7 trillion naira. The downturn was largely driven by losses in major banking counters, with the banking index shielding 0.92% to emerge as the worst performing sector of the day. Marketing activities also weakened significantly, underscoring cautious investors' participation. Total trade volume dropped by 45.06% to 1.04 billion shares, while turnover plugged 64.66% to 41.61 billion naira, and the number of deals executed also slipped marginally by 1.83% to 74,822 transactions. Consumer goods stocks also weakened by 0.13%, while industrial oil and gas indices dipped by 0.03% and 0.02% respectively. The insurance sector bucked their bearish trend with a 0.46% gain, while the commodity index closed flat. Despite the overall market decline, investors' sentiments remained relatively positive as gainers outnumbered losers by 37 to 27, reflecting the market breadth ratio of 1.4 times. The top 5 gainers from yesterday's trading include Len Africa PLC, Pearson Healthcare PLC, Austin Liz and Company PLC, Berger Paints PLC, and Deep Capital Management and Trust PLC. On the losers chart were Zicta Limited, FTN Cocoa Processors PLC, Mayer PLC, RT Briscoe Nigeria PLC, and Naimet International Pharmaceutical PLC. Analysts said the market may continue to experience mild bearish pressure in Friday's trading season as investors remain cautious amid weakening momentum and subdued participation across key sectors. That's all we have for you from yesterday's trading, as we expect a positive market result at the close of today's trading. The Lagos State government has disbursed a total of 1.93 billion naira in loans and grants to micro, small, and medium enterprises (MSMEs) across the state as part of efforts to stimulate economic growth, reduce unemployment, and strengthen entrepreneurship. The Commissioner for Wealth Creation and Employment, Akinyemi Ajidotafe, disclosed this during the 2026 ministerial press briefing. He revealed that beyond financial support, over 8,454 MSMEs benefited from enterprises development and capacity building initiatives, while 848 entrepreneurs were connected to market opportunities aimed at boosting sales and expanding the visibility of their businesses. Ajibutafe noted that the ministry, through strategic partnership with international development organizations and private sector stakeholders, also intensified vocational and technical training programs for Lagos residents. According to him, the state government, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, signed a Memorandum of Understanding to train an additional 2,000 Lagosians in 2026. The commissioner also highlighted the state's growing investment in innovation and technology-driven entrepreneurship as part of broader efforts to empower residents and enhance economic opportunities.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2026 Ministerial Press Briefing of the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment, organized in commemoration of the third year of the second-term administration of His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. Today's engagement provides an important opportunity to present the achievements, activities, and milestones recorded by the Ministry within the period under review, while also reaffirming our commitment to creating sustainable economic opportunities for the people of Lagos State. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment was established to formulate and implement policies, programs, and initiatives that promote employment generation, entrepreneurship development, economic inclusion, and sustainable wealth creation across the state. In alignment with the Themes Plus agenda of this administration, the Ministry has continued to drive strategic interventions aimed at reducing unemployment, improving livelihoods, and empowering residents, particularly youth and vulnerable groups. Over the last 1 year, the Ministry has intensified efforts across its core operational departments and agencies through impactful programs, strategic partnerships, vocational training initiatives, entrepreneurship support schemes, and employment facilitation interventions. The Ministry comprises 3 core departments, namely Employment Department, Entrepreneurship Department, and Partnership Department. In addition, the Ministry is supported by the following statutory departments and units: Administration and Human Resource Department, Finance and Account Department, Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Department, Cash Transfer, Public Affairs Unit, Legal Unit, Procurement Unit, Audit Unit, and ICT Unit. The Lagos State Employment Trust Fund also remains a key agency under the supervision of the Ministry, contributing significantly to employment generation and enterprise support across the state. Distinguished guests, permit me to highlight some of the major activities and achievements recorded by the Ministry during the period under review. Lagos State Graduate Internship Placement Program, GIPP. The Lagos State Graduate Internship Program was distinguished to bridge the gap between academic knowledge and industry requirements by providing unemployed graduates with practical workplace experience and employability training. The program equips beneficiaries with essential workplace competencies such as communication skills, teamwork, problem solving, initiative, and analytical thinking. Participants are subsequently deployed to reputable organizations across various sectors for a 3-month internship program with a monthly stipend of 60,000 naira. I'm pleased to state that since inception, the program has impacted over 6,500 graduates across 5 divisions of Lagos State, particularly noteworthy is the successful placement of 2,005 graduates during the 2024 cycle concluded in 2025. The continued success of the program is largely attributable to its unique 2-phase structure, comprising a 3-week intensive employability training, followed by a 3-month paid industry placement, which has positioned GIPP as one of the leading youth employability initiatives in Lagos State. The mini specialized ICT training program. This is a special program implemented called a specialized ICT training program targeted at 200 unemployed youth, focusing on full stack web development and data analysis. The initiative was designed to equip participants with in-demand digital skills to enhance employability and promote economic empowerment. A total of 200 participants were successfully trained, certified, and empowered with laptops demonstrating strong performance and effective skill acquisition. 2025 Job Fair. This is a strategic employment engagement initiative designed to connect job seekers with potential employers across various sectors. It provided a platform for direct interaction, recruitment opportunities, and workforce integration.
I will hand over to Layo Shobo Show for the rest of the report. Thank you. I am Abiola Ismail.
Thank you very much and well done, Abiola. And that is all we have for you today on Business Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining us. We meet again on Monday for another fresh episode. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at MITV+_NG on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can also watch our programs live on YouTube at MITV+_NG. I am Layo Shobo for Lauren Shaw. Do have a fantastic weekend.